great Wilson Wilson once said, "Howdy ho, neighbors." Wanted to show you a little bit of something. We've got these new trailers, the company I work for, and you may be able to recognize the company that make these, and they are called Doonan. A Doonan titanium trailer. Now, I don't know how much of it really is titanium, but I want to show you these side rails. These side rails are not your particular common side rails. These have a solid rail going all the way down them to make it one piece, and it gives them a lot higher tensile strength in here. But they have these cutout pieces, and these cutout pieces are not very friendly towards bungee cords, as you can see right here. These edges right here will just cut a bungee cord in two. So I developed a way, if you work for my company also, a way in which you'll take a lot of the friction of the edge away from these. And that is, when I'm tying down a tarp, is to get a bungee to go from one ring, D-ring, to the other. And then we're gonna pull out this way, go down, under, and so this has the most edge right here, which is virtually nothing, and then hooks back up here. You go from one down under to the next one, and then the front one on this one goes down. And when you have a union here, you might just use one to hook into a D-ring, but the general way in which I do it is to put a bungee over to one ring, D-ring to the other, and then go down with this one. And so you see it does not, on that sharp edge right there, it does not cut into the bungee. And the bungee underneath here is in this round area here, so it's not as likely to cut it. And so it comes back up and it hooks to the other one in front of it. So you're going down, underneath, back up, down, underneath, and back up for most of your bungees, and that'll take that edge away from those bungees and won't cut them as much. Other than that, I'm kind of impressed with these Doonans. They really pull well. I don't have a whole lot of complaint. I've got one or two issues regarding the way our company has set them up, and I'm going to talk to the safety director about that, but it's nothing to discuss out here. If anything changes, I'll show you what the problem that I had later on, and we'll try to get it done. Anyway, this load that I've got right now is a load of lumber that came from Cleveland, Texas, and it's going up to the Kansas City area. And this is Tuesday, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And so as soon as I get this off, then I'm into the home office, and we'll drag a load out. I think I'm going to go pretty long distance this time, chase a dollar bill. I'll give you an update as soon as I can. Well, hey, how's it going, guys? Well, it's been a long day. I finished loading down in Cleveland and went to the truck stop, and I knew I was going to be really heavy coming out of there. Because of all the lumber they put on me, and it was all 2x4s, and it was good wood. It wasn't any of the pallet wood like you usually carry, and it wound up being pretty light. Well, this is for trusses, and so it's winding up being some real heavy wood. And they loaded me, and had a little bit of problem with the tarping. They left when they put everything on the trailer, the last one was a 20-foot bundle, and everything else cut off about 2-3 feet in front of it, and had 20 feet bundle, about 4x4, 4 feet by 4 feet bundle sticking out the back. And so, when you have the tarp, it has a flap on it, and you bring it to the back and you lay the flap down. Usually it's supposed to hang straight down onto the back. Well, I had this 3 feet of lumber sticking out the back, so the way that you do that, in case you have a load like that, is the top of your flap, you bring it out over where that extra extra bundle is out at the back, you lay it, you bring it out to where it would if it was all wood out there, where it would hang straight down. Instead, you bring it out there and then let it come down to where the flap lays down on top of it. But since it's in the rear, you want the flap to come down first and then the sides to fold in, which makes it really nice and for sealing back there. So what you do, if I can explain it, I hope you follow along with what I do, is you take the flap and you bring it down and then you pull it underneath the excess bundle back there, and you pull it just about as tight as you can, and then you do V with your bungees, where let's say you've got a grommet here and a grommet here. You did a bungee and you hook one to here and hook one to here, and then you pull it out like this, you got a V, and then you do the same on the other side, and then you put a bungee in between them and it holds it with a V like this. And what that winds up doing is that if you'll take it from the top bungee, skip one grommet and go to the second bungee down below it, then what you can do is you can overlap them. So you go to the second one and down to the fourth one down below it and do a V and hook a bungee in between them, and then you wind up they overlap each other, and it seals up really well. Seals the flap down inside with the other flaps around the outside like this. What you have to do at that point is, once you get everything underneath that flap, then you have to get a couple of bungees and hook them to the D-rings that are just kind of around there, and hook them down so they pull down on the flap, so it'll hold it down. The front one you do just the same because it was regular, but the back one, then it comes out over and wraps underneath the excess bundle back there in the back, and it winds up sealing up pretty well. Sorry about that, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, well, what else happened today? I noticed that my buddy Super Trucker Dan had trouble at Love's today. He had a card reader that didn't work. Somebody pulled the def nozzle off, and so he had to fuel up twice. Well, I could top you, Dan. I was on the scale 4 times today. Now I'm going to tell you where this one was. This was in Cleveland, Texas. There's a Love's there in Cleveland, Texas. And usually I don't have too much trouble with Love's. In fact, I think they kind of perform better than a lot of the other truck stops for being as small as they are. But they're clean and they're good. But they really blew it today. And so I'm not going to get too much on top of them, but I will tell you what happened. One part of it was not their fault. I pulled in, and it was about 11:30 or so, and I pulled in, got on the scale, and I opened the door, and I punched the button. You know, you usually get that first weigh or reweigh, and I punched the button and I waited, and I punched the button and I waited, and I punched the button and I waited. So I sat down, and it's humid. Oh, the humidity was so thick you could cut it like it was chocolate cake. I mean, it was really, really humid. So I sat down, getting ready to tarp the load, and they never answered. Well, finally, a trucker came up to me. Of course, I've got the key off because I don't idle much. And the trucker came up to me, beeped from the other side, and he says, "They don't have any electricity." Oh no. So I looked over there. Sure enough, the storage is dark as it can be. Got trucks and cars everywhere. And I go, well, that ain't gonna work. So I pulled the truck around, found a little parking spot, had a little bit of shade on the back half of the truck so I wouldn't be working in the sun all day. Got the truck, got the load all tarped down. And about that time, I could hear the loudspeaker calling guys to the showers and stuff, and so I knew that they had electricity back on, and so I pulled over there to the scale and I punched the button. He goes, first way or re-weigh. Actually, a gal answered, first way or re-weigh. I said, I have a first way with split axles, spread axles. Silence. It was not a good moment. You knew it was getting ready to happen. Well, a male voice came on and said, so we're going to do a spread axle, right? And I said, that's right. I said, let's do pad 1 and 2 first, and then pad 2 and 3 second. I mean, that's the way we usually do it. And he goes, okay. He says, I've got your first one. Go ahead and reposition. So I repositioned, came back here, got under the speaker, said, okay, I got it. And he says, okay, you can park and come in. So far, everything's working the way it's supposed to. So I parked, and understand that I'm now sweated out probably 5 to 7 pounds of water, I imagine. And I've got one of these zeros, and I'm slugging that thing down trying to get my water back in my body. So I'm walking across the parking lot, and I go in the parking lot, and the guy is out there, and what's going on? I came in there, and he says, well, here it is. He hands it to me. It's got 4 measurements on it. On a spread axle, you have 5. You have 4 axles and the gross on it. Hands it to me. I said, it's not right. And he insisted it was right. I said, no, it's not right. And I looked at him and said, you know how many of these I do? He said, well, that's the way I was taught to do it. I said, well, it's not right. Well, I looked at one of the measurements, and I can measure that one of my axles that he did get right was underweight on the trailer. So I knew I was okay. I said, well, okay, I'll just go and get just a regular scale. And so I went back out, pulled out, went back, parked, got it on there. Okay, first way re-weigh. This is number, gave him my truck number, 755. And he goes, oh, okay. He waited again. He says, I've got your number. I go and I park. I come back in. I understand I'm walking 100 yards each time I park to come back over to get it. And I come in there, and they asked me my truck number. I said 755, and they don't have it. I'm going, guys, come on. And he said we'll get you one for free because we screwed this thing up. He says, but would you get back on the scale one more time? So I got back on the scale the third time, and the third time I came in there, and everything went just perfectly. And I came back in, and they had it laying right out there in front of me. The wrong trucking company laid on there. And once they enter that in there, then they got to redo it again. And they asked me for the 4th time to get on. And so 4 times, I finally got it right. And I'm glad that I did, because I was about to show it to you. I was 250 pounds till overweight. I was 79. 780, and it was. Yeah, I'm glad I waited. But anyway, we got finally after 4. That took about another hour. I was there for 2 hours waiting on electricity to come on, and an hour to get the truck weighed. What usually should take you 10 minutes to get the truck weighed took an hour. So I was delayed 3 hours today, and I was supposed to be in Kansas City tomorrow by about 10 o'clock, and I had to move that back till about 1. So that's the way it goes. But that's the way it is so far in the old trucking business. Tomorrow, I'll make my drop, head to Salina, and make another pickup, and then we'll be on, and I'll update you then. So until then, I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure and subscribe down here, if you would, please. You see down there, I'm building the subscriptions. I need to get a couple hundred in there. So if you have not subscribed to me, go ahead and punch on the subscription down there. And even if you're not ever going to use it, just punch the subscription. It sure does help me, okay? You guys have a good one. I will check with you tomorrow here on Pop's Mother Road Flatbed Report.